Welcome to the Vetiver Vibes podcast. We're your hosts, Nikki Frazier and Rachael Dean, certified clinical aromatherapists. We are excited to have you here on today's episode where you know that you'll get the best essential oil scoop.
This episode is brought to you by Essentria, a leading online school for aromatherapy. If you want to learn more about how to become a clinical aromatherapist, check out the courses at www.schoolofessentria.com. Welcome to this week's episode of Vetiver Vibes. Nikki Frazier here with
Rachael Dean.
And this week we are talking about geranium, my second favorite essential oil.
And how did it become your second favorite essential oil? Because it's not even in my top 20, not even top 25. I don't know. It's just not there. How?
It went from my second worst right after patchouli. So geranium and then patchouli were two that I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. And then my last pregnancy, I needed it. I craved it. The end of pregnancy, I was like, give me all the geranium. It was after I actually went and saw my naturopath, and we were talking about different things. And she's like, well, these are some of the oils that I typically recommend for people. I don't remember what it was specifically. I think it was just general support. And I was like, I hate geranium though. And she knows that I'm an aromatherapist. So she was like, well, it's typically what I recommend. Try it out. And so I just fell in love with it.
All right. Well, I don't like it. It's
Get pregnant again and maybe you'll fall in love with it.
No! Oh my God, Nikki! No. My oldest is just turned 18. No, definitely not going back to babies and diapers and all that stuff. If anything, I'm trying to figure out how my oldest, Clara, got to be 18. How did that happen? How do I have an 18-year-old? I don't know if I'm okay with this.
It's a big milestone, honestly.
It is a big milestone. And so many other milestones in my life. I didn't care when I turned 20. I didn't care when I turned, 25, 30, 35, 40, as I was seeing all my friends spiraling as they were hitting these milestones. And it just none of them have fazed me. The last week until it's been intense, man. And it's weird because I'm so proud of them. I'm so happy. I'm everything is positive and great, but I'm like, holy crap, I have an 18-year-old and I don't know how that happened. And it's a lot. They're going to vote. We're going to vote this month and they're going to vote and I'm thrilled. But yeah. It hit me a little bit when they turned 16 and they could start to drive. That was that was probably a precursor to seeing that things were gonna happen that were gonna throw me off the ledge this month when they turned 18. But yeah, anyways, here I am.
Well, that's good. It is. It's a big milestone. I remember I remember celebrating my 18th birthday going to buy lottery tickets. My friend was older than me, so she could buy them already for quite a while. But yeah, we went to the corner store and bought some lottery tickets, some scratch off bingo, and we celebrated that way. It was great.
Yeah, I used to work at a store called the Dollar Mart, and we sold lottery and everything. And yeah, I treat myself when we were doing shift changes and stuff, and you're allowed to buy them. Love that. I haven't done that with Clara yet, but you know what? That sounds like a fun little thing we could do together.
Another
I love that.
Transition into adulthood.
Yes, just spend my money.
So what oils have you been using to help yourself with this life transition?
I've been using grounding oils because I feel like I just need to center into myself. I've been using frankincense. I made a blend of frankincense, balsam fir, and cedarwood and a little bit of sandalwood, and it's been great. I really find that it's helping, and just to get rid of some of those physical feelings that you feel. And then of course I always have my happy oils around too. So my citrus oils.
Nice.
At the different times. Those don't always go. Yeah.
No, and that's just it, right? Some days or some moments in the day you want grounding, whereas other moments you want that uplifting. That's why it's nice to have multiple. As much as that's nice, I'll take your week over mine. I My nervous system went completely kaput. I was in complete overdrive. My oldest had his youth provincial darts tournament, and so we were away for the weekend, staying in a hotel, lots of people, but not even that, just being stressed to the max, watching your kid compete for first place is a lot because he went up on stage for tykes and he went up on stage
Yeah.
for juniors, which he's actually 3 years younger than what you're supposed to be for juniors. So he's playing against
So
people
he's
who
doing really
are a lot
well.
older. Yeah,
You're
he won
still
first.
super stressed about it.
Yeah, he won first place in both. So I mean, he's doing amazing in with it with they were with partners for both of them.
Of course, yeah.
So, but even when he did singles, he still did amazing. I think he got joint fourth, if I remember correctly. Just out of running for a trophy on that one.
Yeah.
But it was like my nervous system was just on edge the entire weekend, so that by the time we came home Sunday, it was just like crash and burn. You cannot get out of bed is pretty much what my mind and body decided to tell me.
Yeah.
So I was bedridden for until Wednesday morning. So we came home Sunday, bedridden until Wednesday morning, and it was just like survival mode, and that's it. So I was using all my immune support oils, especially eucalyptus, a lot of eucalyptus. It is my go to when I'm feeling sick. It
Yeah.
just helps lift me up so much. Rosemary, thyme, and some furs. Furs are really, really great also to help with respiratory support and that type of thing. I wasn't really coughing. A little one just for a little tiny amount. I started to cough, and so I grabbed my cypress because it's always my go-to for coughs, and it kind of like nipped it in the butt, and then it
Good.
just kind of stayed with just the respiratory and like aches, like full body ache and pain,
Yeah,
and
you got hit. You were
I
like,
did.
yeah,
I
you were
was
like, you
dead to the world.
disappeared. You disappeared. Like normally we meet every Sunday night, which we didn't do because you were away for the weekend. But usually then by Monday we're touching base and whatever.
Yeah.
And like I'm sending messages and you're like, I feel like you replied, but they were just like very like quick. And I'm in the emails and I'm checking the emails and I'm replying. And usually like we're like overlapping and going, oh, I was just gonna reply to that or whatever. And then nothing, just quiet. I'm like, well, whatever, like it's cool. But then like Wednesday morning, you're like, oh my god, I'm alive.
Yeah,
Like you just like you came back. You were like
I
you
was
were sick.
gone. I was gone.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't had
So,
one of those in over a year. Like knock on wood.
I haven't either. I haven't
um,
either. I
yeah.
think honestly the last time was his youth provincials from the year before. So we're saying
You
that
need
we
to
are hope.
work on your prepping for this provincials, like boosting the immune system, maybe having some oils out with you. You're putting yourself in a situation where there's like a lot of people. Like you gotta prep, girl.
So the worst part is my kids, I got them their elderberry syrup every day for about a week and a half leading up to it. We upped our vitamin D, we upped our magnesium. I did all that for my children to ensure that they, knowing that they were going to be
Did
stressed out,
you
especially
do
my
any of
oldest.
that for you that week?
I did it like sparingly, not consistently like I had my children being like, take this, take this, take this. And they loved elderberry syrup. So as soon as they would ask for it, be like, okay, great. And then I remember to take everything else out. But then it was usually like while I'm making lunches or things. So then I
That's
didn't
why we
usually
have to
take
remember,
it.
like, it's like put the oxygen mask on yourself
I
first, right? And we have to remember that, like, especially as moms and stuff, like, to make sure, like, we're taking care of ourselves because we can take care of ourselves and our
know.
children. Like, we can do both. And in this case, clearly you could do both. You could have just put like
Yeah.
three shot glasses
Three.
out or whatever.
Absolutely.
Like, like it would have been fine. Just
Yeah.
so if any takeaway is take care of yourself too, and as
Right.
we need to just keep reminding everybody else because it's hard for us to do that for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So
um
coming back
yeah,
to geranium,
geranium,
then
I like kind of it's probably still one of my least favorite oils. I don't tend
so
to use it unless I'm forced to somehow. I don't
well,
know,
I'm going to
just
challenge you because you challenged
oh
me with patchouli a bit ago. So I'm going to challenge you to
okay.
use geranium this over the next couple of weeks at one point.
All right. Okay,
That is your
I will
challenge.
report back on that. I will accept the challenge just because that seems fair, and I will report back, but just know that I do not really love geranium, and I will find some joy in it because that's my goal, is to find joy in everything at some point. But
Just one drop in something, right?
one
That
drop
was
in something,
my
that's all I
thing
gotta
of
do, just
one
one
drop of
drop.
patchouli, so just one drop of geranium in some, and it is a very strong aromatic profile, which is
It
why
is,
people
yeah.
either kind of have that love
I
it or
love it
hate it.
outside, like, in the spring, I put it in my planters, like, I love it outside, and I enjoy it
Mhm.
there, so it's not that I'm, like, completely anti-geranium, I just don't love it. It's not my go-to, and, most florals aren't, so to be fair to geranium, most florals are not my go-to. So,
See, and they're not typically my go-to either, but you brought up a good point of, the flowers are so different than the oils because the oils are so concentrated, right? So
yeah,
that's why like it's kind of more of that punch to your face of like, bam, here's
yeah,
the
that's
aroma,
why I
take
dilute.
it.
Keep them diluted.
Yes, absolutely. So the botanical name for geranium is Pelargonium graveolens. And I remember reading when researching around geranium that it actually it almost became a different name. I don't remember what it was exactly, but it was a little bit of back and forth with the botanical name a couple hundred years ago, and
Yeah,
then they
I remember.
eventually kind of solidified this for the botanical name. So it's always interesting when you kind of see some of that history with it.
Of course, yeah. So countries it's harvested from are Egypt and China. The part of the plant is from both the flowers and the leaves, so both of them.
And then when we look at the oil for the science, the chemical constituents of it, it's high in alcohols, especially citronellol, which means it's really good for anxiolytic, antimicrobial, antifungal, anti-inflammatory. All relate directly back to
Yeah.
that high amount of citronellol. And then it's also really good as an astringent and really stimulant for the adrenal glands. So again, right, when we are tired, when we are maxed out, stressed out to the, we've hit our top wall for stress, our adrenals kick in. And if we don't have
Oh,
enough
yeah.
support, then it makes it even harder. So it's really, really helpful for the adrenal support.
So physical uses, do know that geranium is very good in skincare. It helps balance the production of sebum, so that's great. It's very often used in anything women's health related. So PMS, perimenopause, fertility, um, pregnancy, uh, post-pregnancy,
Postpartum.
postpartum. I was like, post-pregnancy, that's not the way we say. Postpartum. So definitely it's a go-to for all of that. Acne can help with it so back to the skincare stuff. Acne, it helps, and bruising. It can help with bruising as well. And then emotional helps reduce anxiety, nervous exhaustion, nurtures creativity, connection with the body, mind, and spirit. Hmm. And if you work too much, life is frantic and busy. This will help bring clarity. That is like literally me. If you work too much, life is frantic and busy. This will help bring clarity. Okay, I'm gonna try geranium.
I
So,
think the universe is like telling you, and when we wrote these notes, it was a bit ago also. So I mean it's like the fact that it's lining up a lot right now for you, the universe is telling you like
it
the
is lining
challenge is
up.
on.
It's
Use
screaming
geranium.
at me right now. I will try geranium. I will use geranium. I will see if it helps. Maybe I
Very
just
good.
add it to that grounding blend I have too.
Yeah.
That might just be like a nice little like, yeah.
Yeah, because you have other really great oils that are in there that'll help kind of mask the strongness, right? And just one drop
Yeah,
makes all the difference. So
yeah, for sure.
when
So,
we look at the spiritual and subtle aromatherapy use, it's really supportive for the navel chakra. It's considered cool and moist. So if you have a lot of excess heat in the body, it'll help calm that heat, help calm the mind. And again, conveying feelings of calm, strength, security. And if you are into Ayurveda, it really helps to balance out the Veda and the Pitta.
geranium is really nice because it doesn't really have any safety concerns. So the max dilution is 17.5%. So you do need to dilute it, but you do not need, which we're not using it at 17.5%
Mhm.
anyway. So it's fine. The only other contraindications are for oral use, which we're not using things internally. So there's nothing we need to worry about. So topically, you're good. Just obviously dilute still.
Yeah, absolutely. And then some fun facts. It takes about 250 to 500 kilograms, which is about 550 to a little over 1,000 pounds of plant material to make 15 milliliters of essential oil. So that's a lot of plant material, which
It is a
again
lot of
is
plant
why
material.
it smells nice when it's in your backyard, but it's so much stronger when you even just have one drop of oil.
Of course. Of course. And then there's hydrolats for geranium as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really nice way of using it because it is much more
Yeah.
subtle, that aroma.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, I'm like, that much is being made. There's a lot of
Yeah,
hydrosol. So
absolutely. The fun thing about geranium is that it's nicknamed the poor man's rose because it is very, very similar to rose, but it's way more friendly on the pocketbook.
yes.
It's yeah, it's which is why I mean I'm actually not a huge fan of rose because I think it's just too much.
I
Versus I
do like
prefer the
rose.
geranium. And I think maybe I need to try rose because I haven't tried rose in quite a
Yeah,
while. And so now that I like geranium, I actually might like rose more.
that
I'd have
makes
to try
sense.
that out. Hmm.
Yeah. Well, we'll challenge that at some point, but it's not
Yeah.
important today.
Yeah.
That was an expensive one. But
Yeah.
yeah, geranium's great because it's very similar to rose, and rose has like a lot of the same, like that's great for your face and the aroma and everything. So geranium, I know, does balance out, like blends really nicely. There's no doubt. It's just not usually my go-to, at least by itself. Yeah.
And then in ancient Egyptian time, geranium was used to promote radiant skin as part of their beauty rituals. So again, not the same oils that we have today. That's not what we're saying.
Yeah.
They actually used to infuse a lot of oils into fats and that type of thing. So that's how they used it back then.
And our affirmation for geranium is I embrace balance and calm, nurturing my body, mind, and spirit with clarity and strength. And that feels like a really good affirmation for me today. So, and then are we going to do a card pull? What are we going to
We
use? Which
are.
cards are we using today?
So, do we want to use? I will have let you pick. So we have the Acuroma cards, or we have Oracle of the Essence.
Let's do Oracle of the Essence.
Okay. So these are by Monica the Enchantress. And a little shuffle, shuffle. Oh, and started hopping out at me there. Let's start
That's the
with that
one
one.
then.
Juniper Berry. Ooh, let's.
Juniper. Well, I love Juniper Berry. I love Juniper
Mm-hmm.
Berry.
Actually, it's funny because
It's
I was reading something and it was saying, and then it went into juniper and the benefits of it and for detoxing and I don't remember what it was, but it was an oil that you don't typically associate with detox. And then it went into this whole thing about detoxing, and then they were really like talking about juniper berry. So
okay.
it's funny always when it's like you read something earlier that day and it just comes back again. This is for Juniper Berry really supports mirrors awareness. So, wise words. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. That was by Carl Jung. The Juniper Berry personality is filled with confidence, inner wisdom, and openness. It is the essence of the night and assists those who are not willing to look at their shadow side. It is linked to the third eye and the subconscious self. When we stop battling the things that we don't like about ourselves, we realize that there is much wisdom in these aspects that we can learn. The fear of an honest assessment of the self creation mirrors in the physical world to bring awareness to the soul. When the juniper personality is imbalanced, the individual can be sleepless, insecure, and low on vital forces, wanting to hide from society during the day and be awake late at night. Juniper berry helps restore balance in between light and the absence of it, not by bringing color, but by acknowledging that we need to accept what we don't like about ourselves. Juniper berry is a great essence to support the liver and kidney health, as well as assisting with sore joints and muscles. It can be of great help with feelings of depression. This essence blends well with grapefruit, bergamot, and cypress. The divinatory meaning. What are you not wanting to see in your life? Turn around and open your eyes. The things that you don't want to confront are the things that stalk you. There is a great teacher within your shadow side. Embrace it. And then they actually provide an affirmation also. And so the affirmation for this one is, I am in the process of becoming a better version of myself.
Nice.
So you got 2 affirmations.
Yeah, a geranium affirmation and a Juniper Berry affirmation.
Yeah.
So whichever one you're drawn to today, you can take that with you.
Absolutely. I think that's a great spot to wrap up this episode of Vetiver Vibes. Thank you for tuning in. Have an amazing day. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you for spending your time with us here at Vetiver Vibes. This episode was brought to you by Essentria, a leading online aromatherapy school. Don't forget to check out some of our free resources at www.schoolofessentria.com.
If you love this episode or you got a lot of value out of it, please make sure you share it with someone in your community who you think would enjoy it too. If you haven't already subscribed or reviewed the show yet, you can go on over to your preferred streaming platform and hit subscribe, then leave a review. This is the best way to help support us, and we appreciate it. Email us with a screenshot of your review and we will send you a free guided meditation as our way to say thank you.
This podcast is for information purposes only. We are certified clinical aromatherapists and holistic health professionals. If you have a medication concern, please refer to your health team. Everyone's health is unique to themselves, so the topics and suggestions stated may or may not apply directly to you.